1A Doyle asks, these posters and the films are so gorgeous. They really reflect the emotional heart of the stories. Would you have any advice for breaking into script writing or tips for the specific challenges for writing for animation? Did animation and writing style affect each other in the early process of the folkloric triplets? Triplets, I like that. They are triptych, whatever. Okay, so that's mostly for me, I guess. Yeah, the emotional heart is where it always started. The writing was something I hope I've been getting better at. I've always worked with really talented writers right from the beginning, but then, at some certain point, it's kind of down to me and or my collaborators how much of their input ends up on screen. And I don't think film is primarily about um, following the script like an illustrator. I think there's a certain amount of interpretation that you do as a director. So you're not just illustrating the script, you're also taking it and changing it and adapting it. So I think to that extent, I'm a writer and I usually come up with the original idea. So I think I can speak to that it's been a back and forwards. Definitely the inspiration and reason to make these films are usually a feeling, usually something as pure as music and images that I want to see together. And then the writing comes, and I work with a writer and then we're back and forwards. And sometimes an image that I'm sure I need to see on screen gets eliminated in that writing process because the writer will find that they're shoehorning something in just because I wanted to see it. And actually it's one of those darlings you have to kill, and that's happened a lot.
Yep.
And so there's a tension in the director visual part of me and the writing part of me all the time. And I think, that's the essence of it. So um, the writing is ongoing all through the development of the look and the style and even the idea for the movie. There's a writing thing and the writing for animation, I think, is I haven't written for anything else, live action or anything like that. Maybe for comics and things, but I think animation, you have to remember, has an entertainment value in and of itself. Like some of the, let's say, weakest scripts in terms of like modern concept of what maybe a live action script are some of the best animated movies. Think about Bambi, think about The Jungle Book, think about My Neighbor Totoro. There, if you read those scripts, you might go, man, what really happened? It could be stronger, it could be punchier, why this and why
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
they have an entertainment value in the music and in the visuals and how they're animated and how things happen. And I think I as a writer for animation, need to take that into account, that it's not just all about um, a super tight, dramatic script. Some of the value or some of the art of animation is in, the character moments or the music moments or the just pure visual moments that the medium can bring to it. That's about the only thing that's different. Otherwise, it's just like writing for anything else. All that good stuff applies.
I suspect the same thing also applies to comics and any other kind of writing where there's another sensory input. Like I've noticed in the children's books that I think are the best, that I really love, are the ones that where there's almost no redundancy between the words and the pictures, where the words set something up, but it's the picture that shows you the things. And there are a lot of kids books where it's very text heavy and they're describing things in words and then showing you the picture, where I really don't think you need to do both.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what
That
you're
really
saying
fried
too.
my head. That really fried my head as a kid. I always remember reading The Wind in the Willows, and I don't know whether the writer forgot that Mr. Toad was a toad or whether he pictured him with hair. But in the illustrations, he was just like a toad in clothes, right? And then the writer would say, and
Yeah.
he brushed the leaves out of his hair. And I'm like, wait, has he got hair or doesn't he? Because it would bug me that the toad in the pictures, or whether he pictured a toad with hair, I don't know, or what. Or maybe he wrote not just calling him Mr.
We
Toad.
have even we
Yeah.
have more in common than I realized. The Wind in the Willows is one of my favorite books
Yeah.
um, ever. It's amazing, and people don't realize how amazing it is. And that part is it's this. You read that book and you say, "What do you mean he combed his hair?" It's the only time they met.
He's a toad.
Combs his. What are you talking about?
And even if
And
it was
and it
rat, it
goes
would be
further.
okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Go
with
ahead.
rat, whatever. But apparently he has hair. And then there's a whole other slew of problems because there's humans in that book,
Ah.
and
What?
humans and frogs drive the same. cars, right? He drives the same cars as a person
What
does,
size are
but
they?
they live in grounds. Like
Yeah.
they don't. There's that
Yeah.
stuff is not worked out, and that's one of the reasons I love that book, because he doesn't actually have to
Yeah.
sort any of it out, so he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, cool.